Zix 427 blinked all four of his eyes as he stared at the data streaming across his monitor. After 50 years of searching for new civilizations, something was different. The readings from the small blue planet didn't make sense. He tapped his scaled fingers on the desk, creating a gentle clicking sound that echoed through the empty laboratory. The planet showed clear signs of an advanced civilization, cities that sparkled at night, satellites orbiting the world, and vehicles moving across its surface. But there was something strange. Complete silence. No radio waves, no broadcast signals, nothing that would suggest the inhabitants were communicating with each other. "Computer, run the scan again," Zix 427 said, his voice trembling slightly. The massive machines hummed as they analyzed the third planet of the yellow star system once more. The results were the same. Laura Bennett sat in her office at the Galactic Council headquarters, reviewing reports from various exploration teams when her communication device chimed. The message was marked urgent. Her green eyes scanned the report quickly, then read it again more slowly. "This can't be right," she whispered to herself. In her 15 years as a first contact specialist, she had never seen anything like this. A civilization advanced enough to have space travel, but choosing to remain completely silent. It went against everything they knew about developing species. The council chamber buzzed with nervous energy as members from different species gathered for the emergency meeting. Laura stood before them, her hand steady as she projected the data onto the large screen behind her. "As you can see," she said, pointing to the images, "the civilization on Earth has achieved significant technological advancement. They have modified their planet's surface, built massive cities, and even sent primitive spacecraft to their moon. But they maintain absolute silence in terms of communications." A council member from the Proxima system raised their tentacle. Could their technology simply be too primitive for us to detect? Laura shook her head. "No. We can detect radio waves from civilizations far less advanced. This silence appears to be deliberate." The chamber erupted in worried murmurs. Deliberate silence from a developing civilization was unprecedented. Some species tried to hide their communications after detecting alien life, but none had ever achieved complete silence. Zix 427 stepped forward, his scales reflecting the chamber's soft light. "There's more," he said, his voice carrying across the now quiet room. "We've detected unusual energy signatures around their planet. They don't match any known technology." The council leader, a tall being with crystalline features, leaned forward. "What are you suggesting?" "I believe," Laura said, choosing her words carefully, "that this civilization might be more advanced than we initially thought. The silence might not be from technological limitation, but from choice." The implications sent a chill through the chamber. A civilization advanced enough to hide all its communications, yet patient enough to maintain the facade of a developing world. The concept was terrifying to many council members. "We need to know more," the council leader declared. "But we must proceed with extreme caution. If they are deliberately hiding their true capabilities, we don't want to provoke them." Laura nodded in agreement. She had studied thousands of civilizations, but Earth was different. Most species broadcast their existence proudly into space, eager to join the galactic community. But humans were an enigma. As the meeting concluded, Laura stayed behind, studying the images of Earth. The blue planet spun silently in the projection, its cities twinkling like stars. On the surface, everything looked normal: vehicles moving, buildings being constructed, ships crossing oceans. But the silence was deafening. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. That somehow, the humans knew about them all along and were simply waiting. But waiting for what? Zix 427 joined her at the window, his four eyes reflecting the starlight. "What do you think we should do?" Laura watched as another image of Earth appeared on her screen, this one showing the night side of the planet, lit up by countless cities. "We observe," she said quietly, "and we hope we haven't already revealed too much about ourselves while we were busy watching them." The two stood in silence, watching the distant stars, both wondering if somewhere out there, Earth was watching them too. The cloaked satellite slipped into Earth's orbit like a shadow, its advanced stealth systems making it invisible to any known detection methods. Kevin Martinez watched from his observation post on the moon base, his dark eyes fixed on the monitors showing real-time data from Earth. As an observer for the Galactic Council, Kevin had seen many worlds, but none quite like this. The humans went about their daily lives, seemingly unaware of the countless eyes watching them from above. Or were they? Base to control, picking up some odd readings, Kevin said into his communication device. He adjusted the sensors, making sure the data was correct. There's a pattern to their movement that doesn't seem natural. The response came quickly. Explain, Observer Martinez. Kevin pulled up several video feeds on his screen. Look at their military installations. They're positioned in a way that suggests they're protecting against threats from space, not just from other nations. And their satellite network. He paused, double-checking his findings. It's too perfect. The coverage patterns leave no gaps. On the main viewing screen, a commercial aircraft took off from a busy airport. Its trajectory matched exactly with thousands of others recorded over the past week. Every flight path, every shipping route, every major vehicle movement followed precise patterns that only became visible when viewed from space. Their behavior is too coordinated, Kevin muttered, making notes in his log. It's like they're following a script. A small alert flashed on his secondary screen. One of the observation drones had detected an unusual energy signature near a remote mountain range. Kevin enhanced the image, but before he could focus on the area, the signature vanished. Control, did you see that? He asked, rewinding the footage. Negative. Observer. Our sensors didn't pick up anything unusual. Kevin frowned. This wasn't the first time their instruments had disagreed about what they were seeing. Earth seemed to have a way of making technology unreliable, as if the very air around the planet interfered with their equipment. In the 6 months since the Council had begun their close observation of Earth, they had gathered enormous amounts of data, but very few answers. The humans had technology that should have been generating massive amounts of communication signals, yet they maintained their inexplicable silence. A soft peep drew Kevin's attention to another screen. A small coastal city was conducting what appeared to be a routine emergency drill, but as he watched, he noticed something strange about the timing. Control, I need a data comparison, he said, fingers flying over the holographic keyboard. Cross-reference all emergency drills conducted in the past month. The computer processed his request, and the results made his heart skip a beat. Every drill, in every city across the planet, had been precisely timed to create gaps in their observation coverage. The gaps were microscopic, lasting only seconds, but they were there. They know we're watching, Kevin whispered. They've known all along. He pulled up the lunar surface cameras, suddenly very aware of his exposed position on the moon. The Earth hung in the black sky, beautiful and threatening at the same time. What else were the humans hiding? A message from Laura Bennett appeared on his screen. Observer Martinez, return to base immediately. Bring all your data. Kevin began the shutdown sequence for his observation post, his hand shaking slightly. As he prepared to leave, he took one last look at Earth through the reinforced windows. A satellite passed through his field of view, one of thousands orbiting the planet. But this time, he noticed something different. The satellite adjusted its orbit by a fraction of a degree, compensating perfectly for the blind spot in their observation network. It wasn't random. It couldn't be random. As his transport prepared for departure, Kevin couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't the ones doing the observing anymore. The humans weren't just hiding their communications. They were playing a much bigger game. And the Galactic Council was only beginning to realize they might be several moves behind. Susan Wright stared at her computer screen until her eyes hurt. As the Council's lead analyst, she had spent 3 weeks studying the data from Earth. Something about the patterns kept bothering her, like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. Computer, "Show me global energy usage patterns again," she said, rubbing her tired eyes. The screen filled with colorful lines showing power consumption across Earth's major cities. At first glance, everything looked normal. But Susan wasn't looking at the obvious patterns anymore. She was looking at the spaces between them. "There," she whispered, pointing to a tiny fluctuation in the data. "Every 12 hours, their power grid shows a microsurge. It's so small we almost missed it." She zoomed in on the pattern. "And it's everywhere, in every city, at exactly the same time." The door to her office slid open, and 6427 entered, carrying more data crystals. "Any progress?" he asked, his scales shifting color with curiosity. Susan nodded slowly. "I think I know why we can't detect their communications." She pulled up a new display showing Earth's complete electromagnetic spectrum. "They're not using radio waves or any conventional signals. Look at these energy patterns. They're using quantum communications." 6427's four eyes widened. "That's impossible. Quantum communication networks require incredible precision. No developing civilization could build one covering an entire planet." "Unless," Susan said, her voice growing excited, "they're not actually developing." "Computer, analyze all technological advancement patterns on Earth for the past 100 years. The computer hummed as it processed the request. Charts and graphs filled the screens, showing the progression of human technology. But something was wrong with the data. "See these jumps?" Susan pointed to several points where human technology had suddenly advanced. "They're too perfect. Each advancement builds exactly on the previous one, with no false starts or dead ends. No civilization develops this cleanly." She pulled up another screen showing satellite images of Earth's major research facilities. "And look at their research centers. They're not trying to discover new technologies. They're strategically revealing them, piece by piece." 6427 moved closer to the screen, his scales now a pale blue of concern. "Are you suggesting they're already far more advanced than they're showing us?" Susan finished. "These aren't development patterns. They're a carefully planned rollout of existing technology." A soft alarm sounded from her computer. Someone was accessing their observation data from Earth, but that was impossible. Their systems were completely secure, protected by the best encryption in the galaxy. "How are they doing this?" 6427 whispered, watching as their files were being copied at impossible speeds. Susan's fingers flew over her keyboard, trying to stop the intrusion. But every security measure she tried was bypassed instantly. It was like trying to stop water with a net. "They're not just reading our data," she said, her voice filled with awe and fear. "They're correcting it. Look." She pointed to the changes appearing in their database. Small errors in their calculations were being fixed, missing data filled in. The implications hit them both at the same time. Earth wasn't just aware of their observations. They were helping to make them more accurate. 6427 quickly sent an emergency message to the Council. "We need to recall all observation teams immediately, if they have this level of technology." "It's too late," Susan said quietly, watching as more corrections appeared in their database. "They've probably been inside our systems since we first detected them. Everything we know about Earth. They chose to let us know it." The room fell silent except for the soft hum of computers. On the main screen, Earth continued its quiet spin through space, its cities glittering like stars. But now those lights seemed less like signs of civilization and more like the eyes of a predator, watching and waiting. "We're not dealing with a developing civilization," Susan said, saving her findings to a secure drive. "We're dealing with something far more advanced than anything we've ever encountered. And they're finally letting us know it." Amanda Clark wasn't supposed to be in the Galactic Archives this late. As a junior diplomat, she had basic access to historical records, but something about Earth's case made her dig deeper. She sat at her terminal, surrounded by glowing screens showing thousands of years of galactic history. "Computer, show me all attempted first contact records from Earth's sector," she said softly, even though no one else was around. The computer hummed, searching through countless records. A file caught her eye. Something marked as corrupted from 300 years ago. Amanda leaned forward, her fingers moving quickly across the holographic keyboard as she tried to repair the damaged data. The file opened, and her breath caught in her throat. It was a report from a scout ship that had visited Earth's solar system centuries ago, but it wasn't what she expected. "They saw us coming," she whispered, reading through the report. "They had detected our scout ships before we even reached their solar system." More files began appearing on her screen, hundreds of them, all previously hidden or corrupted. Each one told the same story. Earth had been aware of alien civilizations for centuries. They hadn't just discovered space travel, they had mastered it long ago. Her communication device buzzed. It was Laura Bennett. "Amanda, where are you? We need you in the emergency meeting." "Laura, I found something," Amanda said, her voice shaking with excitement. "Earth, they've known about us all along. They detected our first scouts hundreds of years ago." There was a long pause on the other end. "Stay there. I'm coming to you." While she waited, Amanda kept reading. The evidence was overwhelming. Earth had picked up signals from alien civilizations early in their development, but instead of broadcasting their presence to the galaxy, they had made a different choice. Laura arrived at the archives, slightly out of breath. "Show me," she said, pulling up a chair. Amanda displayed the recovered files on the main screen. "Look at this. Earth detected their first alien signal over 500 years ago. But instead of responding, they began developing technologies to hide their presence." "Why?" Laura asked, her eyes scanning the data. "Why hide when they could have joined the galactic community?" Amanda pulled up another file. "Because they were watching us. All of us. They saw how advanced civilizations sometimes treated developing ones. They saw conflicts, exploitation, and wars, so they decided to wait and prepare." The implications made Laura sink back in her chair. "You mean they've been studying us while we thought we were studying them?" Amanda finished. "Every piece of technology they've shown us, every advancement we've detected, it was all carefully planned." A new alert flashed on Amanda's screen. More files were unlocking themselves, as if something had decided it was time for them to see more. "Look at this," Amanda said, pointing to a series of images. They showed massive structures hidden beneath Earth's oceans and inside mountains, facilities that their best scanning technology had somehow missed. "They're not just advanced," Laura said, her voice filled with awe. "They're generations ahead of us. The quantum communications, the hidden facilities, the perfect coordination. They've had centuries to prepare." Amanda nodded, still scrolling through the emerging files. "And now they're letting us know. But why? Why reveal themselves now?" Before Laura could answer, every screen in the archive lit up with the same message. The words appeared in perfect galactic standard. "Because it's time for a conversation." Laura and Amanda stared at the message, realizing that this wasn't just a revelation. It was an invitation. Earth had decided that after centuries of silence, they were ready to talk. "We need to tell the Council," Laura said, already sending urgent messages to every member. Amanda looked at the message again, understanding flowing through her. "They weren't afraid of us finding them," she said quietly. "They were waiting to see if we were ready to find them." News spread through the Galactic Council like a shockwave. Alien species from every corner of known space watched their data feeds with growing panic. Peter Howard stood before the council chamber, trying to maintain calm as he delivered his report. "The humans have quantum technology far beyond our understanding," he said, his voice echoing in the silent chamber. "They've been using it to monitor our communications for centuries." The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from dozens of worlds started talking at once. Some were already calling their ships home. Others demanded immediate military action. "Our observation posts around Earth are going dark," a tech officer announced, her voice shaking. "They're not being destroyed. They're simply disappearing." On the main screen, Dots of light representing their observation stations vanished one by one. It wasn't an attack. The humans were simply revealing how many of their posts they had found and disabled long ago. A representative from the Proxima system stood up, his crystalline form shimmering with anxiety. "We must withdraw all our forces from Earth's space immediately." "It's too late for that," Peter said quietly. The room fell silent again. "They're already in our systems. They've been here all along." He waved his hand, and new data appeared on the screens. It showed human quantum signatures in every major alien facility, every space station, every ship. They had built their observation network right under the Council's nose. "How?" someone asked. "How did we not detect them?" Peter brought up an image of Earth's internet, the primitive communication system they thought humans still relied on. "We were so focused on their old technology that we missed what was hiding behind it. Their quantum network isn't just on Earth. It spans the entire galaxy." The Council leader's voice cut through the panic. "What are their intentions? If they've been watching us all this time, what do they want?" Before Peter could answer, every screen in the chamber changed. The same message appeared that Amanda Clark had seen in the archives. "Because it's time for a conversation." "They're letting us see them now," Peter explained, trying to keep his voice steady. "Every hidden facility, every advanced technology they've developed. They're revealing it all." New images appeared on the screens. Massive space stations hidden in plain sight. Fleets of ships that could outmaneuver anything in the Council's forces. Defense systems that made their best weapons look like toys. "Our long-range scans are picking up more signals," the tech officer reported. "They're coming from everywhere." The humans have bases throughout the galaxy. They'd been expanding for centuries while maintaining their silence. A council member from a warrior race stood up, his battle armor gleaming. "This is an act of war. They've infiltrated our entire civilization." "No," Peter said firmly. "If they wanted war, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They've had centuries to strike. Instead, they watched, they learned, they protected." He showed more data. Records of human ships secretly preventing conflicts, stopping natural disasters, and helping developing civilizations without revealing themselves. "They weren't hiding out of fear," he continued. "They were hiding because they chose to be guardians rather than conquerors." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't been afraid of alien civilizations. They had been protecting the galaxy all along. Suddenly, every communication device in the chamber activated at once. A simple message appeared. "We request a meeting." The council leader looked around the room, seeing the fear in every face. "Do we have a choice?" Peter smiled slightly. "We've always had a choice. The humans have been waiting centuries to see what choice we would make. And now, they think we're finally ready." Outside the chamber windows, the stars seemed to shine differently now. Every point of light could be hiding a human observation post, a quantum relay, or a protective fleet. The galaxy they thought they knew had changed forever. And somewhere on Earth, humanity was finally ready to step out of the shadows. The Galactic Council's grand meeting hall had never been so quiet. Representatives from every known civilization sat in their chairs, waiting. The massive screens that usually showed star maps and data feeds were dark. Then she appeared. Lisa Martinez walked into the chamber as if she had done it 1,000 times before. Her simple blue suit and calm smile made her look more like a business person than humanity's first official ambassador to the galaxy. "Thank you for accepting our invitation," she said, her voice clear and confident. No translation device was needed. She spoke perfect galactic standard. The council leader found his voice first. "You've been watching us for centuries." Lisa nodded. "We detected your first scout ships 500 years ago. We were still fighting wars with swords when we realized we weren't alone in the galaxy." She waved her hand, and the dark screens came to life. They showed Earth's history, not the version the council knew, but the real one. "We made a choice back then," Lisa continued. Instead of rushing to join the galactic community, we decided to watch and learn. We saw beautiful things: cooperation between species, sharing of knowledge, the growth of civilization. The screen showed scenes of different alien races working together, building great projects, helping each other. But we also saw the darker side, she added. Images changed to show conflicts, exploitation of weaker species, the destruction of developing worlds. So we prepared, Lisa said. We developed our technology in secret. We built our defenses. We created a network that could protect not just Earth, but any civilization that needed help. A council member stood up. The quantum network. You've been using it to watch over developing worlds. Lisa smiled. Yes. Every time a stronger civilization tried to exploit a weaker one, we were there. Hidden, but ready to help. The screen showed more images. Human ships secretly preventing disasters, stopping conflicts, protecting young civilizations, all without ever being seen. Your silence, another council member said. It wasn't fear, it was strategy. We needed to be sure, Lisa explained. Sure that when we finally revealed ourselves, the galaxy would be ready for what we have become. She pressed a small button on her wrist. Suddenly, the space around the council hall seemed to shimmer. The true extent of human technology became visible. Massive ships appeared in orbit, far more advanced than anything the council had. Defense systems that could protect entire solar systems. Medical technology that could cure diseases thought incurable. Everything we've achieved, Lisa said, every advancement we've made, has been for one purpose: to be guardians, not conquerors. The council leader leaned forward. Why reveal yourselves now? Because the galaxy is changing, Lisa answered. New threats are emerging from beyond known space. We've detected them, just as we detected you centuries ago. But this time, we'll need to face them together. She touched another button, and a new image appeared. It showed something massive moving at the edge of the galaxy, something that made even the bravest council members feel afraid. We've protected the galaxy in secret for centuries, Lisa said. Now we're asking to do it openly, as part of the galactic community. The chamber was silent again, but this time it was different. The fear was gone, replaced by understanding and hope. We don't come to you as conquerors or as saviors, Lisa said, her voice firm but kind. We come as equals, offering our help, our technology, and our friendship. The choice to accept is yours. The council leader stood, looking around at the representatives of 1,000 worlds. They had come expecting to face a threat. Instead, they had found protectors who had been guarding them all along. Ambassador Martinez, he said, his voice steady. I believe it's time we had that conversation you mentioned. Lisa smiled, and for the first time in 500 years, humanity was ready to break its silence. Daniel Ross stood at the observation deck of the newly revealed human space station, watching alien ships arrive from across the galaxy. After 3 months of talks, today was the day everything would change. The station itself was a marvel of engineering that had remained hidden in plain sight for decades. Its quantum cloaking technology had kept it invisible until humanity decided it was time to be seen. Quite a view, isn't it? Lisa Martinez said, joining him at the window. Below them, Earth shone like a blue jewel in space. Hard to believe we kept this secret for so long, Daniel replied, watching as another alien delegation arrived. Their ship, once considered advanced by council standards, looked almost primitive next to the human vessels. The main conference room was filled with representatives from every known civilization. The fear that had gripped them during the initial revelation had been replaced by curiosity and excitement. For centuries, Lisa began, addressing the gathered aliens, we maintained our silence. Not out of fear, but out of responsibility. We saw civilizations rise and fall. We watched as the strong sometimes preyed on the weak. And we made a choice. The room's holographic displays came to life, showing the true extent of human influence throughout the galaxy. Hidden bases that had protected developing worlds. stealth ships that had prevented wars, quantum relays that had monitored every corner of known space. Our silence allowed us to become guardians, Daniel continued, stepping forward. We could help without interfering, protect without controlling, and guide without ruling. An alien representative raised his tentacle. But why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue as silent protectors? Lisa touched a control, and the holographic display changed. It showed the massive shape they had detected at the galaxy's edge, a threat unlike anything they had faced before. Because what's coming affects us all, she explained. The silent guardians need to speak, and the galaxy needs to stand united. Daniel brought up more images, human technology that could be shared, defenses that could be built, and strategies that could be implemented. We've spent centuries preparing not just ourselves, but the entire galaxy. Every civilization we helped protect, every conflict we prevented, every world we watched over. It was all to prepare for this moment. The alien representatives looked at the displays with new understanding. Humanity hadn't just been hiding. They had been building an invisible shield around the galaxy itself. We offer not just our technology, Lisa said, but our experience. We've learned that true strength comes not from power, but from unity. Not from conquest, but from protection. She waved her hand, and the displays showed a new image. A galaxy working together, human ships flying openly alongside alien vessels, combined defense networks, shared knowledge and resources. The time for silence is over, Daniel announced. Now is the time for action, for unity, and for standing together against what lies ahead. The room erupted in agreement. Species that had once feared humanity's revelation now saw them as allies. The silent guardians had finally spoken, and their voice carried hope. As the meeting concluded, Daniel and Lisa stood again at the observation window. The Earth continued its quiet spin below them, but it was no longer alone. Ships from across the galaxy now orbited openly, their crews working together with humans to prepare for the coming challenge. 500 years of silence, Lisa said softly. Was it worth it? Daniel watched as another alien ship dropped its cloak, one of many that had learned humanity's stealth technology. We gave the galaxy time to grow, to learn, to be ready for this moment. And now we face the future together, Lisa finished, not as silent guardians, but as equal protectors of all life in the galaxy. The station's quantum communications network hummed with activity as messages flew between worlds. The silence was over, but something better had taken its place. The united voice of a galaxy ready to face whatever came next. Humanity's greatest secret had finally been revealed, and with it, their greatest gift to the galaxy. The knowledge that they had never truly been alone. The silent watchers had always been there, preparing the way for this moment, when all would stand together against the darkness that approached.